G'day guys, how you going? Welcome to my YouTube video. I'm Iski and this is my home theatre. This is called Ant's Super Cinema. I've got a playlist on my YouTube channel where I'm building this home theatre at the moment. If you're curious, if you're interested, if you're into all of this kind of stuff, check it out. But for the time being, it's actually doubling up as a repair studio, I guess you could say. And that's because this is the biggest space that I have in the house. I used to repair these things on my front porch and then I ran out of room and I started doing it on the driveway, but it's too steep. So now we're in my home theatre that I'm building because we've got a lot of floor space in here. We'll see how long this lasts. Anyway, what do we got here? We have another Electrolux dryer, and I was actually given this the other day by a lady. She said her husband tried to fix it. She said he didn't get too far. He gave up pretty early on in the venture, I think she said. And let's have a look, see how far he got. That's how far he got. He's taken the back cover off. He took the cover off and he took, I think, a couple of screws off this side and he gave up. Oh well, he had good intentions anyway. So today the plan is we'll just lie this down on its face and we'll check it out, see what we can see. And the thing is, this is the newest dryer I've ever had, and yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, how this would only be a couple of years old, if that. It's got a fast 40. Don't ask, I wouldn't have a clue what fast 40 is. That's the first time I've ever seen it. I'm sure we'll find out, but yeah, so that's the plan today. I'm just going to get set up a bit more and bring you back and we'll take a closer look. Alrighty, so I guess first things first, let's lie it down on its front. Oops, the door's open. Is that going to close? In fact, listen, I haven't shown you this. I'll just stick my hand in there. I can't move the bowl. The bowl's locked up. I can just move it. I have a feeling that's got something to do with him opening it though. So yeah, he's kind of opened it and pulled the back up a little bit, and I think it's actually pulled the bowl out of that lip, so can't be sure, but that's what I'm thinking. So let's actually lie this down just like that. I'll just reposition this camera. There we go. Okay, let's get our 1/4 inch hex bit. Go to town, take these perimeter screws off. That's it. Now let's have a look at this. Take the bearing nut off. Yeah, I think he has bent it because this whole back, you can't see it. I don't think you can see it from that camera angle, but this back is kind of bent up slightly. But that's all right. We'll work it out. We'll get it going. Let me just reposition this camera here. There we go. Okay, let's pull this back cover off, this ducting. Wow, look at that. Normally you pull this off and it's just full of gunk. I think he's actually cleaned it. It looks like they've cleaned it anyway, so good on him. Thank you for that. We'll just... Oh, I missed one of these hex bits. There we go. And just slide this strain relief out. And I don't know if you can see in there, there's a cable just in there. In fact, if I actually pull this up past here, it might be easier. There we go, that's going to make things easier. There we go. So I'll have to put my hand in there and disconnect that plug from that heating element. I'll just quickly do that. Come on, there we go. And there's all this dust. Let's just take this outside, shall we? It's not too bad. Shouldn't be too bad considering it's such a new machine. Let's have a look at this. Wow, look at that. Look how much lint and stuff is on that heating element, eh? See, this is the stuff that people smell when they smell burning and they freak out. I mean, it's not going to catch on fire, but it will sizzle and it will smell like your dryer's on fire, and that's what people freak out about. So we'll actually do a video where we go in here and we clean that out. But we're going to have to kind of fix this up a little bit before we put it back together. But otherwise, let's just have a look at this bearing for a start. Let me just put you here because I have to lift this up with use two hands for this. Alright, let me just lift this up and just use my finger to see if the bearing... the bearing. The bearing stuff. Is it just the bearing? Are you serious? Yeah, it's not turning. And it's locking up. So you can't tell, but yeah, it's actually not turning. If I go, yeah, it's locked up. I reckon. Could this be as easy as fixing, just replacing the bearing? Are you serious? How cool would that be? Well, let's have a look at the rest of the machine, shall we? Oh, no. Well, hang on a second. Let me get our trusty YouTube lighting system. Okay, look at the belt. Just have a look at that belt. Can you see it? Probably can't see it. Hang on a second. Let me just set this light up. Now, this is a classic. This is a classic belt. It's a belt as well. Look at that. Look at how much it's fraying. Whoa. Look at that. This belt is toast. Check this out. In fact, let me move this light. That's better. This is like the worst frayed belt I think I've ever seen. Ever. Wow. Look at that. Man, this guy obviously didn't watch my YouTube channel. He could have replaced this quite easily. But that's crazy. So, alright, so it looks like we're going to be replacing a belt and a bearing, a main drum bearing. Cool. I think I've got all of those kind of items, so let's do that. So, first thing we do is we take the tension off by releasing this spring. There we go. We'll push this motor back, holding on to this idler. We'll just pull this around like that. Take the tension off that belt. So now we can actually pull this belt up. Let's take a look. Wow, I don't think I've ever seen a belt like this before. That's nuts. I'm glad I pulled the camera out. Check that out. Wow. That's crazy. Put it on here, better contrast. Wow, look at that. So, you know what happens with these things? This basically starts off pretty innocently. It starts off with probably a little bit of a nick. I'm always showing people how to check their belts before they put their belts back on, and I run it through my hand like this, and I'm looking for little burrs, something like that. And that's how it starts, something that simple. And when it goes around the bowl so many times and through the idler, it just gets bigger and bigger and starts ripping, and wow, that's crazy. Awesome. Okay, let's pull this bowl out anyway. I want to basically have a good look in there. If it looks like it needs a clean, I'll take it outside and blow it out. But yeah, it does look like it does need a clean. I'll just pull that out. You can see all of that crap down there. There's a bunch more. I don't know if you can see all of that dust and shit in there behind the motor. Okay, so let's have a look at this idler. Let's check the idler, because a lot of the times it's the idler that actually create the first nicks in these belts. So let's have a look at this. I mean, let's go outside. I mean, it's all right. I mean, there's no cracks or anything in there. I'd probably use that idler, keep using it. It's a bit strange. It's got a couple of little dimples on there. I don't know. I'll probably stick it back in. If I've got another one close by, I'll stick that one in. But yeah, it's strange. All right, so that's okay. Let's go back and have a look. So, you know what I should do? In fact, let's just turn this motor so we can hear the fan. Hopefully we can't hear the fan. That sounds all right. That's good. That's what we want to not hear. That's good. Okay, so I think everything else is going to be fine, guys. I think what we're going to do is quickly blow this out and get this back in here, and we'll just put it back together with a new belt and a new bearing. How good is that? Nice quick fix. But awesome. Okay, let me just set this up outside. Let's have a look at this. That's okay. Whoa! Look at that! Man! Man, that was really deceiving. There was a lot of dust and lint and crap in there. And half of it's in my cinema now. Great. Just blow into the element. Wow, that was crazy. The amount of crap that came out of that dryer. Glad we blew it out. Let's have a look now. Beautiful. Look at that. It's like a new one. Man, what do people do with these things? I mean, do they not use the lint filters or something? Anyway, stop complaining. I am just going to bring that back in here, set it back on the carpet, and then I'm going to go and find us a belt and a new bearing. Ha, a new bearing. Actually, yeah, I think I do have a new bearing. Let's just put that here. We'll face it this way this time. Let me go and see if I can find us some stuff. Alright, I'm back and I got some stuff. Okay, so I've decided I am going to replace that idler. I'm going to put this one in. It's much nicer looking. Yeah, so we'll throw that in. I don't know, I don't like this one. I'll hold on to it, like there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's just got these stripes there. So we'll stick that aside and maybe use that if we really need it down the line sometime. But we will also throw in a new bearing. Hey, listen, it's a new dryer. We may as well stick a new bearing in. Always confused when you buy these bearings from eBay. They always give you some extra packers. There's one there. Hang on. And there's one there. Now these are designed, if you get a bearing like this that doesn't have this kind of, you can see how it's got this raised bit here. What's this called in the center of the bearing? Is that called the race? I'm not sure if that's the race or if that's the race on the outside. But yeah, this has to be raised on both sides, this bit there, as well as it needs a lip there as well. But the ones that they give you already have the raise. You know, see, like that, it's already raised. You normally put these on the ones that aren't raised. So I don't know, maybe they want you to put them on there as well to give it a bit more of a raise. I mean, that's a pretty big raise. But we'll work it out. We'll work it out. We might stick it on anyway. But I guess that's something that we have to do. Where is this thing? So let's replace this bearing. Let's pull this out. Okay. So if you want to replace a bearing in your clothes dryer, it's basically attached to the back of the machine. Unfortunately, it's on the inside of the back of the machine, so you have to take the entire back off like we've already done, and then we have to undo these 3 Phillips heads there. So let me just bring this out into the light a bit more and grab a Phillips head. We'll just take this off, and there's our bearing. Now let me just feel that in my hand, because it was freezing up before. Yeah, it's totally frozen. In fact, it's actually getting a lot easier to turn now, if I can do it in front of the camera. It wouldn't surprise me if it was just because there was so much dust in that machine, that maybe some dust has got inside there, and that's what happens. And you can just put a bit of WD-40 in there and it'll come good again. But it's still pretty fixed. Like, it's pretty hard to turn, so I might look at that a bit later. But for now, let's just grab the new one. Let's just compare this. I just want to see the raised. I don't know if you can see that. It's exactly the same. It's like, I mean, this one that's in the machine might be raised, yeah, ever so much, yeah, maybe a little bit. So what I will do is I will actually put these little packers in there. Can't hurt when we put this in. So how do we do that? Let me have a think. All right, so putting this in is just like putting another bearing in, basically. Let's just put that in there like that. And we will put that plate back on top. Just blow it off a little bit. There we go. All right. Now, just quickly, I'm just going to fix this up. Doesn't need much. I'm just kind of pull that up. You can actually see down the bottom there's a spring that just pulls out, basically. So if we just pull that out, let the spring do the work, just slide that in there. There we go. That's all fixed. But it's not a big deal, those things. It doesn't matter too much if they kind of come out. Alright, so let me stick you back up here. I'm just going to go and grab our drum and just pop the drum back in the machine. Just like that. Make sure it's turning nicely. Man, that's actually... it's pretty full on sound, isn't it? Just let me just lift this up and have a close look. It's going to be okay. There's a... that actually slides into this kind of gully here. There's a bit of there's a kind of a big bit of fluff in there. I might see if I can just work that out with a screwdriver, but it still shouldn't make that. We don't know what it's going to be like until we actually put it back together and turn it on. It might just be doing that because of the orientation of the machine. I don't know, but let me just see if I can get a bit of that fluff out anyway. Can't hurt. That's about it. A bit more over there. Alright, that'll do. Let's just stick it back in. Put this belt on. At least it turns freely. That's the main thing. Alright, so I am going to just grab you guys. We'll bring you over this side because this is where all the action's about to happen. Hang on a second. Oh, this dumb gimbal. Okay, hang on a second. Let me just reposition the dryer then. Okay, that's a bit better. Okay, so you've seen me do this many times before. Put some belts on machines. First of all, this is our new belt. It's actually like a new belt. There's not a single little thing wrong with this belt, but I like to stick them in my hand and pull them through my hand, and I look for those burrs that I was telling you about before. And this one feels really good, so I'm happy with that. What I will do now is actually put this idler on. Now when you put these idlers on, you put this face down. That kind of nylon washer looking thing goes, if I don't drop it, goes basically downwards. So let's just pop that on, just slides on like that. It moves freely, cool. And I'll just stick you back here. Let me just reposition this camera if I can. Okay, so now we want to push our motor back against this wall just by pushing the idler. That's as far as it's going to go. That's interesting. Normally they go a lot further back. I mean, look at that. I reckon, I'm pretty sure, is it just me? Is it just me, or is that actually, it normally goes back further? I can't remember now. I thought it actually touched the wall when you moved it back. Oh, you know what it is. Oh, you know why. I think it's because it's a 6.5 kilogram machine. It's bigger than the machines that I'm used to. So I guess they have to stop making them bigger by like the width of the bowl this way. Maybe they've made it that way. So that's actually, I bet you any money if we measured this, it might be actually wider than 600, this dryer. But that's probably why, because it's a bigger machine. Okay, cool. Let me just stick you there. Now let's grab this belt, slide it over the top of the bowl like that. We look for the dust, the belt mark that's in the dust on the bowl itself. It's about there, and then we put the belt over our motor armature, just like that. Hopefully you can see that, just like that. And then we just take a bit of tension, we get a bit of slack out of that belt by pushing the idler that way. Okay, now that belt did fall down a little bit, so now that there's no slack in there, I'm actually going to lift it up. So I'm just going to put my hands at the back here and just raise it a little bit. It's about right. And then we grab that spring, this spring here, and we pull that down and hook it onto the bottom of our machine. There we go. Can you see that? Alright, this is going to be interesting. That belt feels a little bit tight, to be honest with you. Hopefully it's the right type of belt. I've actually come up against some of these belts that have been a little bit tight feeling. Let's have a look. Oh no, that'll be okay. There we go. I think that'll be right, guys. I think we're on a winner there. Now, I don't do this very often, but with these packers, now basically I'm pretty sure we have to stick one of these little eyelet looking washer things over that one there, and then we put the back on. Now don't quote me, I'm pretty sure that's, to me, that's just logical. So let me just stick that there. And now, is that all we have to do in here? So we've done the belt, put a new idler in there. In fact, I haven't actually tested this drum out. So like I say in my other videos, I just like to turn it a few times in each direction to make sure it's traveling really nicely. That's looking good. Let's go the other way. That looks good too. So I'm happy with that. All right, and we've got our packer that I just put over there. That is to pack up the bottom part of our washer. So let's put our back on. Remember, we have this heater cable. We need to plug that back into our element, just like that. And we need to put our strain relief back in. Come on, buddy. There we go. We'll just stick this pin through there. In fact, what I like to do is get this this exhaust pipe fitted over the existing exhaust pipe that's already in the machine, just like that. Push down a little bit, and then I like to get this pin through our bearing, just like that. Now that's pretty good. It's a bit springy, but I think it's springy because this back is a little bit bent, because he must have tried to pull it up when he was messing around with it, but that's okay once we've got some screws in. In fact, let's put 4 screws in, 1 in each corner, and we will test this out before we go any further. Let's actually put a screw in up here. Let's put a screw in over here. 1 in this corner. And 1 in the top corner. And what we will also do is we will grab our lock washer, our normal washer, and our nut for our bearing. And then we will put our other packer. Where did I put that other packer? Now I've lost it. That little washer. Sorry about this, just give me a second. In fact, I'm kind of I can't find it. I'm a little bit paranoid that it might be sitting on this bowl. So let me just pull these off and have a quick look. I've done that before with quite a few things actually. And then when you tip it up, you can hear this clonk. So, do I leave it here? No, it's not there. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, so now we put this second washer on top there. Okay, so let's grab our nut and our lock washer and our normal washer. So we put our big washer on top there, and then we put our lock washer, and then we put our normal, and then we put our nut on there. Let's just turn that. Just like that. So, what do you think? Is this thing going to turn? In fact, let me just put this cover on the back first. Just like that. Man, that nut looks like it's really protruding a lot more than it normally would. But that's alright. Let's actually raise it. Before I do anything, let's open it up and see if it turns. That's alright, turning nicely. Let's plug it in. What do you think? That's a good sign. Nice, got a bit of crap in there. Very good. That is sounding perfect. It looks great. So what I might do is just let that run until we hit the reverse action, and we can just test out the bowl spinning in the other direction. And once we've approved that, we'll stick the back cover on and all the screws. I haven't felt any heat come out of it yet. It's been going, no, not really. I don't know why, but these automatic dryers, they take about 8 minutes or so before the actual element turns on. I think that's ridiculous. That is crazy. But it happens with Westinghouse, it happens with Electrolux constantly. So not only do I want to see this stop and go in the other direction, but I also want to see that heater come on before I button her up. I have no problems with the heater. I did have a lot of crap stuck in there, but that's not going to burn it out. I don't want to put it back together and have to take it apart because it needs a new heater as well. Yeah, I don't think I really needed to put those packers in there, to be honest with you. I should have saved them. You can save them because you always get bearings that don't have those raised edges, and it's always good to have those packers on hand in case you just get a normal bearing. Anyway, I wish it'd just stop and go in the other direction. Come on. Here we go. Awesome. It's going in the other direction now. Belt staying on. Let's have a look at the heater. Okay. If you have a look down there, can you see the heater's turned on? It must turn on as soon as it stops and goes in the other direction. Alright, so I'm happy. That's a good thing. So, I'm going to unplug this now. I'll put the back on. Oh, a nice smell of burning in the air we have. Just pause that. They've actually got it set to extra dry. I want to put it on normal dry. Oh, there's that fast 40. What's fast 40? I don't know what a fast 40 does. Let's hit play and see. No, it's not any faster. I was thinking the bowl might spin faster. All right. Okay, so it's on normal dry. That's good. Let's turn it off. Let's put that there. Okay, let's put the cover, the back cover back on, and the rest of the screws. Right, power, play, awesome, there we go. How good is that? All done. Sounds even nicer than before, and that's probably because the cover is now on the back. It's not as noisy, so it's perfect. So there you go, that was a really nice, short, easy one for us. What did we have to do? We had to replace the belt, we put a new bearing in, and we put another idler in there. So I reckon this machine is probably as good as new. So excellent. I love it when people give me these really nice, almost new machines. It's amazing. It's so cool. This is, yeah, the newest one that I've ever had, 6.5 kilos. So what I'll do now is I'll do some laundry and I'll stick a couple of heavy loads of washing in there and just make sure that the main start motor capacitor works okay under load. And once I've worked that out, I'll do a couple of test washes, a couple more test washes, and then I'll sell it. So there you go. I'm going to call this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.